Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. This is going to be the Green Tide versus Greenskins and Empire. So I'm bringing back Gerrish's Mounted Death here. We have two Orc Boar Boys, two Savage Orc Boar Boys, Gerrish on his boar. We have some Forest Goblin Spider Riders behind them. We have two Goblin Riders in Vanguard deployment back there. My ally has 4, I think, deployed back there. My enemy, Greenskin, is also utilizing the Goblin Wolf Riders. We have 3 out here. We also have 2 over here. And I guess that's it. So a lot of Goblin Wolf Riders on all sides here, which I'm very happy to see. The rest of my infantry is 3 Goblins backed up by the Shaman, 3 Savage Orcs, and then the Ragnarok Spider, and a Doom Diver. This is just kind of my generic Gerrish Mounted Death build here. Then my ally has a lot of Orc Biggins, a lot of Goblin Archers, which I don't see them spammed out this much, so this is new to me and exciting to see, because I don't see people really ever utilize Goblins that much at all, which is a crime. We also have Azag on the Wyvern flying beast thing, and we also have some Trolls, and then an Orc Shaman for my ally as well. Our enemies here have 2 Reiksguard, a line of swords, a line of crossbows. They have Karl Franz on a Griffin, a Luminarch of Heesh, which we don't see often either. And honestly, I didn't even notice at the beginning of the battle, because when the fight starts, my attention is immediately focused on these 3 Wolf Riders that are in Vanguard deployed. And anyway, the rest of our enemy is, we have another Azag on the Wyvern, a Ragnarok Giant, 3 Black Orcs, 2 Orc Biggins, and then 2 Orc Boar Boys. Or I'm sorry, not Boar Boys, Orc Boys. That's the generic Orc infantry. This, a lot of greenskins in this fight. A lot of greenskins. A lot of Vanguard deployment too, which I was happy to see. So yeah, we've kind of tucked back here in the corner. We'll unleash the goblins soon-ish. I didn't see a point to take them out of the hiding right now, because I want them to go after these crossbows. That's my initial target right here. Again, I didn't even notice this Luminarch in the beginning of this fight at all. Did not even see it. So I remember I was just sitting here like, what am I going to do about these? And these Reiksguard that appear to be going over towards my ally. So our Doom Diver is going to start firing into, I think the Reiksguard is what I gave them the order to. I gave them a few orders. Infantry, then Reiksguard, then infantry. I couldn't decide on which one to hit. We did get a hit on the Reiksguard though, which is why they're damaged here. Now right here, my ally marches their Goblin Archers in front of their infantry lines, so these Wolf Riders are just going to kind of pile in, and the Reiksguard are just going to go to pile in. Maybe it was just to lure the enemy into a trap. Meanwhile, Karl Franz, being Karl Franz, goes right in the middle of our formation, tries to get our Doom Divers. So what I did here is I immediately dropped the equipment, and I'm running our Doom Diver crew away from this engagement. I do not want them to die, because I want them to come back and arm these Doom Diver catapults. So I immediately pulled them back, seeing Karl Franz coming after us. We got a magic missile from Azag going down. We got our Ragnarok and all of these forces surrounding Karl Franz. And I'm trying to chase him to keep him tied down. And then right when he's about to fly, Azag comes in. And then and then all the trolls get in. Meanwhile over here, a lot of the Goblin Archers were killed or are routing because they were left in front of the infantry line. But Karl, also going to get spear leeched here. Now listen, Karl Franz is one of the strongest combatants in this game, especially when on top of a Griffin. But not even Karl Franz on a Griffin is immortal. So you gotta be really careful how you use him, because this player loses him like in the first minute of the match. But you know, I guess we did lose some archers, but I would much rather have the Karl Franz death than, you know, I don't care about the archers. Crossbows are in range, trying to pelt the trolls with some bolts, which is a good call. I'm going to move in some Orc Boys to try and kill them. Meanwhile, we have some Orc Biggins, I think, fighting the Reiksguard, and they are going to try and intercept me here, and they're going to. A little bit. But the rest of my boys go off. And unfortunately, I only get into the very back of one of these crossbows, and we're going to get kind of surrounded here by the swordsmen. I'm doing another charge with some more Orc Savage Boys into these Reiksguard. We're also getting hounded by some trolls. The Luminarch of Heesh, again, at this point, I'm not really noticing it because now I'm micromanaging our Goblin Wolf Riders, so brought them out of their ambush point, and I'm going to try and get them into these crossbows. And this battle kind of gets all over the place. So this Luminarch is just going to be firing at my Ragnarok, and each time it fired, it wasn't on my screen, or else I would have noticed it. It's hard not to notice a giant laser blast. But like, I was back here managing I unfortunately let my Ragnarok get hit a few times by the hitch. That's what I'm trying to say here. Fate Abuna is dropped on these Savage Orc Boar Boys. And right now, I'm just going to try and focus on the Empire player since their leader is dead. So we're just charging in here. There's another shot on my Ragnarok, but it missed. Luckily, the hitch misses a couple times. Yeah, Doom Diver. Doom Diver is so accurate. So yeah, I'm trying to pull out our Savage Orc Boar Boys because I need to silence these crossbows before we go in there. These Savage Orc Boar Boys do not have any armor to rely on, so it's kind of this is a deadly force. And here we go with our Goblin Wolf Riders. Vanguard deployed Goblin Wolf Riders. I love them. They're the best. Get into those crossbows. Meanwhile, we have an infantry engagement here going down with the trolls, and Orc Biggins are coming into support. Reichsguard are now in the back trying to kill my Goblin Wolf Riders. And over here, I want to try and hold the Orc player off with as minimal forces as I can because I want to focus on the Empire player. So I throw in our Goblin Spearmen here to hold off some Orc Biggins and Orc Boys. Probably not going to last too long, but that's where they are. We have some Goblin Archer support. And this Ragnarok, man, I moved it back, and then I moved it forward, and I never really moved it into combat. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just kind of had it sitting in the backfield. Over here, we intercept some Goblin Wolf Riders with our Savage Orcs, and we get more Savage Orcs in there. So it's just getting nailed by this Luminarch Hish over and over again. I was just too busy with all my other cav to really focus on the Ragnarok, which is my bad. I should have just given it a generic attack order. At least it would have done something. But for some reason, I just didn't put any focus on the Ragnarok. And it's a pretty big part of our army. It's like 2,200. Over here, I'm supporting our goblins with Gerrish over here with Stand Your Ground and a Wah to try and hold off these Orc Biggins. Goes Luminarch again. And I'm still trying to manage our Wolf Riders back here because the Empire is not breaking, or is not shattered. That's the word. They're not shattered. So I'm constantly trying to charge into all of these breaking units to try and shatter them so then I can move on to just focus on the Orc player. But they are resilient. They do not shatter, even though their leader dropped in the first minute of combat. As you can see, also back here, I had my Forest Goblin Spider Riders getting charged by Goblin Wolf Riders, so I'm chasing them off. So my attention is just spread out all over. We have engagements everywhere. This is a chaotic battle. Gerrish is chasing off some swordsmen who are routing. Here we go. Boom! Oh my god. This giant clump of infantry just gets nailed by my Foot of Gork. I put my Orc Shaman close by, and I gorked him. That's right. Gorked him. So we got some kills with that. You know what, actually, hold on. Let me cut this, and let's show that part again. Here we go. Look at the health of these units. I needed to capture that again because just the Foot of Gork is one of the coolest looking spells in this game, and with its help, the massive amount of Orc Biggins break the rest of these infantry. God, it was in the perfect spot. We have this giant clump of infantry surrounded by ours, but they were far enough away from each other, like these two sides are away from each other, that I could get every of the enemy in the Foot of Gork, but none of the allies. So it was perfect. It's perfect work. So right now, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to just tie down the Ragnarok Spider by having them chase around some Savage Orcs, and I'm going to do my best to not like do a hard engage against this Ragnarok, because I honestly don't have anything that can bring it down at this point, at least nothing that's geared to kill it. So I'm doing my best to just try and ignore that, and I'm going to try to ignore the giant as much as I can, and I'm going to try and have our Doom Diver, which is still alive, because remember I did run them away from Karl Franz, so they're still alive back here on the Doomdiver catapults. I'm having them aim at Black Orcs right now, because that's the only other unit that I'm really worried about, because I don't really have much armor piercing left. Some of my Boar Boys are still alive, like back here, and they could possibly do some damage to Black Orcs, but man, having 3 almost fully fresh Black Orcs at this part in the fight is really scary. Really scary. Right here, the enemy Aztec does try and charge my Orc Shaman, but I get them out of the way because I saw that coming. And then my ally is going to do a counter charge. I think they drop a Spirit Leech. No, they dropped a Magic Missile. Meanwhile, back here, we're still micromanaging. Well, I am micromanaging our goblins to try and continue to shatter the human forces that keep coming back from routing. Over here, this giant is now engaged with Gerrish Tokehammer. I don't want him to be. I think I try and get him out of here when I notice what's going on. And again, you can just see this battle is just all over the place. My god. This is probably one of the most chaotic battles and spread out that I have ever fought. We just have units everywhere. There we go. You can see I'm pulling Gerrish out of the fight. I do not want him fighting that giant. Meanwhile, the enemy Aztec is trying to take out this group of Goblin Archers, which is a good call. They are very weak to almost everything. So he's going to chomp down. Wyvern's going to have a full belly tonight. Meanwhile, that Arachnarok is still trying to get into any unit that it can. Black Orcs now engaged, or have been engaged with the Orc Biggins, and you can see the Orc Biggin group is going to rout from this, or temporarily break. But this is a lot of damage. A giant and 3 Black Orcs, like these Orc Biggins, who've already gone through a lot. I understand why they're routing right now. It's a lot to handle. Trying to get some shots down with our Forest Goblin Spider Riders on this Arachnarok, because it's kind of all I want to give to that fight. What I'm hoping here, as I try to get Gerrish, is that we can break their morale. I'm not trying to kill them, I just want to break their morale, so I'm trying to focus on the remaining units of the Orcs, and if we shatter enough of them, then I'm hoping that maybe the big creatures will just rout. As I'm trying to get more damage in on our Forest Goblin Spider Riders, I try to pull them out, I thought. There we go, yeah, they're getting pulled out. And then our Aztec is going to try and charge them. After nailing them with a few very nice magic missiles, they're going to get a charge in. I'm trying to charge Gerrish in there as well. Meanwhile, my allies Biggins are still retreating. That Luminarch is out of ammunition, so it's been able to fire everything. It got a few shots on our allies Azhag, but it was not enough to bring him down, as you can see. And with the charge from Azhag and the magic missiles, the enemy's Azhag, which is their only leader left, is currently breaking, and they're going to just be chased at this point. Forest Goblin Spider Riders still trying to just do whatever they can to the Arachnarok, and I am just trying to stay away from it again as long as I can. Still picking these Black Orcs with our Doomdiver catapults. Doing what I can to not have to do a hard engage against the giant. Some Savage Orcs are there to slow him down. I'm just trying to buy time to pelt down these Black Orcs. Another for the Gork. Oh! 2 Gorks. Double the Gork, double the fun. And that does so much damage to those Black Orcs, and they are going to break. Gerrish was in there as well. Now the Arachnarok is in our back lines, which is a really scary sight, but I'm still just determined to try and break their infantry. And the enemy Aztec is about to be routed off the field. Those Empire troops still coming back from routing. They just refuse. I've spent the entire match with our Goblin Wolf Riders continually just hitting them over and over and over again, but they just keep coming back. They're like cockroaches. That's what the Empire is. They're a bunch of cockroaches. They're the worst. And I eventually lose a lot of my Goblin Riders to these constant engagements. Now you can see, when we rout Aztec off the field, they have so few people left on the field that the big creatures that we were trying to ignore break. So we did not even have to kill them, which is amazing, because if I did, I would have lost so much to try and bring down an Arachnarok and a giant, because I had nearly nothing to fight them. I was so afraid that if Azhag wasn't killed, and if they didn't rout, we would have probably lost. If the enemy Azhag was able to live and Yeah, that's it. If they were just able to live through that and allow the Ragnarok and Giant Time to continually just destroy us, because you can already see that at the Ragnarok getting into our backline just like routed so many units, and those 2 units would have eventually shattered us, and they would have won that easily. But thankfully, my allies, Azhag, got a few magic missiles off on the enemies and was able to charge them, bring them down to almost to death, and then just charge them off the field, which is exactly what we needed, and that got the victory for us. If that didn't happen, again, I think we would have lost, because oh my gosh, I had nothing. I remember I was so worried at this point of the game. I'm like, I can't do anything against the Ragnarok. It's just gonna kill me. So let's see the kills here. Decent amount of kills for the Orc Shaman and the Orc Warboss. A lot of those had to be from those 2 forted Gorks, which I love that spell. It just looks so cool. Goblins managed to get 112 kills. I'm trying to think what they were fighting. Swordsmen? I know I put them up against Orc Boys as well. That's I'm shocked they got that many. Some Savage Orcs did okay, but a lot of them, I think these 2 ended up getting routed by the Ragnarok. Our Goblin Wolf Riders got a ton of kills on those crossbows and just continually getting charges off on the routing enemies, but they eventually did take a lot of damage and they were routed themselves, but they managed to get so many kills. My Orc Boar Boys did okay. My Savage Orc Boar Boys also, I think, did okay. Forest Goblin Spider Rider, I didn't really utilize them that well. 118 kills on the Doomdiver Catapult. 1 kill on the Ragnarok Spider. 22, I think it was 2200. Just down the drain. I don't know what I was doing. Just too busy micromanaging our other cav, and I let it die. I just let it die. I let that 2200 just boop, just go. So yeah, I made some mistakes there. My ally, let's see how Mau Mau did. Orc Biggins, I think, did really well across the board. No kills on Azhag, but they did do a lot of magic missiles. Orc Shaman, I'm sure, was casting spells. The Goblin Archers, I think, did pretty okay. They're 300 each, I think. And so I think that's a decent amount of kills, especially since I think half of these got almost slaughtered in the very beginning of the match. Wolf Riders did okay. They had 5 of them, which I totally appreciate. And then 3 Trolls, I think, all did pretty well. The Empire player, poor Carl Franz. Not invincible, and it shows in this battle here. When you bog him down, he can get killed. The Great Swords, I think, did okay, considering that they got Foot of Gorked and continuously hounded by goblins. The crossbows were shut down pretty early. The Reiksguard did an amazing amount of kills against all those goblin archers and other infantry from both of us. And then the Luminarch got 32 kills. The Luminarch did so much damage. Let's see, Microsoft Word. Azhag, 25 kills. Orc Boys, I think, did pretty well. They were fighting against my goblins. Biggins did really well. The Black Orcs did super good. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. That's impressive. And each one of these Goblin Wolf Riders, I think, got a great amount of kills considering what they are. Giant, 119, and a Ragnarok, 116. Whew. It's a really good thing we broke their morale, or else those numbers would have been much higher and we would have lost, I think. So yeah, that was just a chaotic battle, one of the most spread out battles I've ever played. It spread my micromanagement to the max, because there was just engagements everywhere because of all these Goblin Wolf Riders just terrorizing everybody on the field. I love it. I loved all the Look at all these Goblin Wolf Riders. You never see this. How many do we have in total? Like, I had the least amount, which is... What? How do I have the least amount? So we got... 5, 7, 10, 12. There were 12 Goblin Wolf Riders on the field. What an excellent battle. 12 Goblin Wolf Riders on the field. That's amazing. This needs to happen more. And then Goblin Arch... Anyway, I'm just really happy to see all the Goblin love in this battle, which is mainly why I wanted to show it. I'm going to be honest. You don't see Goblin love represented often. But anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody, and you all have a good day. Take care.